So today is Chav Zayin Tammuz Tafshin Tet, and we are studying Shmuel Aleph, chapter 10, verse 17. So what's been happening is we had a long insight into Shaul and how he came around to become a king, but it was all this was all private. Nobody, if Shmuel would not have told us, nobody would know about it. Even the guy that went around with Shaul didn't have any clue. The kid that was helping him look for the donkeys, he also did not have a clue as to what's going on. That they met Shmuel and anointed him to be a king. It was all secret and unknown. Now, why is he telling us all of that? This came after the Jews basically were demanding a king. And why were they demanding a king? They were demanding a king because the security situation in the land of Israel was not the best. They were feeling oppressed. We had a long back and forth with the Philistines, and they were the de facto rulers of the land, even though they didn't. They had cops everywhere. They had platoons of soldiers everywhere, and we paid all kinds of monies to them. So there was a respite of it for 10 years since Shmuel became a judge. But now that he is older, at least appeared to be old, he was young, he was 50, but he was appearing to be old. So all the monkeys came back out of and they were starting to have oppress us again. So the Jewish people got together and said, "We want a king. We want someone who will save us from the oppressors." So Shmuel didn't agree with the rush to do it. He felt that we can rely on God a little longer. We've been dealing with not the central government for 400 years now. We had judges, and depending on our behavior, we would do better, we would do worse. But God was ruling the country here, basically. And now this appears to be, the Jews were not happy with it anymore, and they wanted a king. So Shmuel, consulted with God, so to speak, and said, "Okay, tell him, give him a king," and he found Shaul. So this is where we are right now, and suddenly, it's an emergency. Vayatzek Shmuel et ha'am el Hashem hamitzpah. So Shmuel is sounding the alarm. Everybody rush in to come to the mitzpah. The mitzpah is a place near Yerushalayim where a lot of important gatherings occurred. We had a shul over there, it was a special place. And he's most of the at the time of Shmuel, most of the big gatherings happened over there. So he's rushing everybody to come in, because as we will see very soon, in days we will have a problem. We will have a security problem, serious security problem. But he's not telling him that. He's just sounding the alarm. Everybody come. So he started. He gave them a short speech, and in the speech he was telling them basically that, reminding them how not fit they are right now to make the right decisions, and the proof of it is that they asked for a king at this point, which is not the right time for them. He mentioned it again, even though the decision, the deed is done already. You know, there is a king, they don't know it yet, but he felt before it becomes public to let them all know again how not the best decision it was. So he says, "Vayomer el bnei Israel." So he spoke to them. Ko amar Hashem Elokei Israel. So said the God, the master of the Jewish people, and he's using a phrase that's being used to describe God as the divine intervention, the hashgacha pratit, how God is watching every soul and everything in the world. What?
What pasuk are you on?
Yudchet, 18. 10, 18. So, Ko amar Hashem Elokei Israel, and he's using now the same word that the Ten Commandments is starting with. Hanochi eleti et Yisrael u'Mitzrayim. God is saying, this is the highest description of God. This is the first word of the Ten Commandments. Hanochi eleti, I brought the Jews, lifted the Jews up from the slavery in Egypt. Va'atzil etchem miyad Mitzrayim, and I saved you from their hands, from the atrocities, from the difficult time over there. Umiyad kol hamamlachot alochatzim etchem, and I also saved you from all of the other nations that are oppressing you. Hint, hint. Why are you asking now for a king? But you know, just so you know, it's not the right thing. Ve'atem hayom me'astem et Elokechem. And today you basically were fed up with your God. Asher hu moshia lachem, the same God that is saving you all the time from both things, from ra'otechem v'tzarotechem, from outside problems and internal problems, external and internal problems. Vatomru lo ki melech tasim aleinu, and you demanded that a king is going to be inaugurated, is going to be put upon us, it's going to rule us. So now you're asking for it, so here it comes. V'atay tyatzvu lifnei Hashem, so now you should stand up in front of God. Anything that happens, momentous occasion, you have to take it standing up. L'shiftechem u'le'alfechem. So you should come, all of your tribes and all of your thousands. And the point here is made that even though there was a lot of turmoil in the past 400 years and a lot of different wars in different sections, the Jewish people managed to keep the boundaries and the units of the tribes and the families within the tribe. We were very organized and very homogeneous. How do you say it? Homogeneous society. So, how are we going to select the king? So he didn't tell them that there is one already. He wanted to legitimize it. So he made a public lottery that was made with a breastplate. So the breastplate was brought in with a Kohen, because only a Kohen can make this function, right? The high priest of the time. So the tabernacle was in Kiryat Yearim at the time. They brought it to a mitzvah. It's not far away. They brought him in, and they are making a public selection. Now, how is this selection, how is this goal occurring? A similar situation happened in the very, very beginning when we crossed the Jordan and we came to Jericho and we conquered Jericho. But then there was a problem. One of the guys took from the booties, Achan, right? And as a result, we lost the next battle. And there was a need to figure out who crossed the line, who did the wrong thing. So there was, again, all of the Jews got together, and the breastplate is going to tell us who's at fault. So here, the breastplate is going to select who is the right person to rule. And they started narrowing down. So they started bringing a representative from each one of the tribes to stand in front of the breastplate. And if the breastplate would not react, you know that that's not the right person. Next, until we got to the youngest of the tribes, the tribe of Benjamin. And then the lights went on, and the breastplate started reacting, blinking lights, blinking letters. I don't know exactly which ones. But the bottom line is that it was evident that the tribe of Benjamin is the right tribe. So, ויקרב שמואל את כל שבטי ישראל, וילכד שבט בנימין. ילכד, what is וילכד? Was trapped. It seems like it was a trap. Because it wasn't the right thing for the Jewish people. And we see also it wasn't the right thing for Shaul himself. He ruled, now the countdown starts, he ruled for 2.5 years. Today is the countdown starting for the 2.5 years, right? It's so had he not been a king, he could have been living for who knows how long, with his donkeys that he found. So it's scary. Okay, it's a Vailaked Shevet Binyamin. He was trapped. He was marked as the one that's the one that's supposed to be ruling, but it's also a trap. Vayakrev et Shevet Binyamin lemishochotav. So now that we know which tribe it is, now we need to narrow it down to a person. So let's do it by again an intermediary step of finding the right family where the person is from. So they called the head of each family, passed by the breastplate, not you, not you, not you. And then, Vatilaked Mishpachat HaMatri. Matri, Mr. Matri. Who was Mr. Matri? If we look in the several times that the tribe of Benjamin was counted, the tribe of Benjamin had 10 families, and Matri was not one of them. Matri is the first time that we're mentioning it is here. So who is Matri? What happened here? So several years ago, we had the story of Pilegesh Bagiva, where the tribe of Benjamin was protecting a rapist, a gang who raped a person, a maid, a servant, and left her to die on the doorsteps of her guest, of her host home. And the Jewish people were demanding from the tribe of Benjamin to extradite the gang so they can stand trial and get punished, and they were not agreeable to that. So there was a civil war, and all but 600 men from the tribe of Benjamin were killed, which is like 45 or 48,000 people, an insane number. And we will see later soon. We will recount exactly how they built their families. But there was a very strong need to rebuild the tribe of Benjamin because most of the people from the tribe are gone. So all of those 10 families, not many of them remained, and new households emerged. One of them is the household of Amatri. So this household was selected as the one that from its tribe, from its clan, from its family, the one that the king is going to be chosen. Vaylaket Shaul ben Kish, vayvakshu v'lo nimtza. And then Shaul ben Kish was again each one of the men within the family was presented, but he was not presented as a person. It was a lottery with names in a bucket, right? And the name of Shaul ben Kish came up. Now, where was Shaul? He was not there. Okay, he was hiding. So there is a whole discussion here that the rabbis are saying that it's very difficult. The way up is very difficult, and the way down is very difficult. When someone is becoming an important person, it's not easy. It's not easy for them. and it's definitely not easy for them to to get off the high position. So we see it with Shaul. It's like a roller coaster. He's a regular man, pious man, but regular man, and then goes up, and he doesn't want to, and he's hiding, and he's not sure, and he's not sure for several reasons. He's not sure because he felt funny. He felt not fitting for the position. And so he was hiding. And we will see in a second, that this is not really proper for a king to be hiding under the bed, so to speak. It's not respectful for the subjects, for the people, if the king is not. But we will see that very quickly he finds his way, and he's standing up, and everything, he carries on. Vaishalu od ba'Hashem. So what happened? Why was he away? He wasn't sure still, even though he was already inaugurated by Shmuel, and they did the lottery, and he won the lottery. He still was not sure, and he wanted an additional confirmation. If you recall, last time he was given 3 signs. He was given 3 signs by Shmuel that to make sure, so he knows that it's going to happen. He's going to become a king, and who is he going to be dealing with? And one of the signs is that he's going to be ruling over people that don't want him to rule them. A bunch of hoodlums, basically, which we'll see very soon, are picking their ugly head, and announcing that they don't trust him. So he felt that it's not simple, it's not easy. Politics was never easy, and he wanted from Shmuel another confirmation, and another confirmation that has to do with the breastplate. Meaning, not only that it's a lottery, that maybe it worked, maybe it wasn't, maybe it's just a luck of the draw. He wants the breastplates to actually say, yes, Shaul ben Kish is the king, and that's what he was asking Shmuel to do. And Shmuel obliged, and no problem, and he asked. And so they asked again God for an answer. Abo od halom ish, vayomer Hashem, hineu nichbar el hakelim. So if you make a raffle and the person is not there, some raffles, the rule is that you're not there to pick up the prize. It's not yours. So he wanted to make sure that it's his. So they asked again, and he says, yes, this is the person who I selected to be your king, and he is hiding. He is hiding where you have all of the in the shed, essentially. Yeah, there was in the mitzpeh, there was a big area where people assembled, and they had this house of God over there, a shul or something of that nature, and there was a shed for stuff. I don't know, for the mics, for the lights. I don't know, music, whatever it is that they have over there. They had, so that's where he was hiding. Now, on the one hand, he was afraid. He was fearful that he's not going to be liked. So he was hiding. On the other hand, it's good that someone who is in a position of power is humble. He's not running for the power. He's not running to take the throne and to start throwing their weight around. So it was good that because a person that exhibits such characteristics will have easier time guarding themselves from being haughty, from being, from throwing their weight around. So it was good for the people, it was good for him that he was acting that way, on the one hand. And on the other hand is, it wasn't really a momentous occasion where you have a big inauguration, and he's wearing whatever amazing clothing, it wasn't like the inauguration of the President of the United States, that a lot of people are there, right? So, the most people are there, right? So it wasn't that, there wasn't that kind of a situation there. So he was hiding. Now, halom is a word, means royalty, and it's interesting that halom is being used in modern Hebrew when kids are having a bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, that they're thanking their parents, she'eviuni ad halom, that they brought me up to here. So halom means here also, but it really means royalty. So it's being used as you brought me up to here to this amazing occasion, and you're thanking the people that.
And Yahalom is diamond.
And Yahalom is diamond, yeah, because it's Yud K. That you're adding God to the Malchut. This is the Yahalom, yeah. Anyway, vayarutzu vayikachu misham. So they ran. There was not too many places to hide. There was just this, lonely shed. So they went there to get him from there. Vayikachu misham vayityatzeb betoch ha'am. So he stood amongst the people. Vayikba mikol ha'am mishikmo v'mala. And right away, physically, he looked taller, and also he asserted himself. And from that point on, he was not so wishy-washy anymore. We will see still that he was not totally in charge, in control. He was pulled by the people to do things that he shouldn't have done, which was his, the reason for his demise eventually. But for now, people saw that he's standing up, and physically and spiritually he's fitting for the office. Vayomer Shmuel el kol ha'am. So Shmuel declared, Hareitem asher bachar bo Hashem. Look at this person. Did you see? So he is really testifying. Shmuel is testifying in front of the people. You should know that this guy is not just, handsome and tall and looking good. His inside is also taller than you, because that was the problem. People, can't see, they can't see what's in a person's heart. So Shmuel felt that he needed to testify here and to give his, okay for this selection. הראיתם את אשר בחר בו השם, כי אין כמוהו בכל העם, because there is nobody as good as him in the entire nation, in the entire, in the entire land. It's unbelievable that, Shmuel is telling someone that you're the best we got. ויראו כל העם ויאמרו יחי המלך. So everybody was very happy, and they were roaring, and they were cheering, and they were screaming, Yechi HaMelech. This is it's an unbelievable statement. Yechi HaMelech, long live the king, long live the king. This is where long live the king comes from. And this is the only time in Jewish history that they have, that's long live the king is being mentioned that way. So, yeah. וידבר שמואל אל העם את משפט המלוכה. So now Shmuel is doing something very, very interesting. If you recall before, when the Jews were asking him to find us a king, he told them, this is what the king is going to do to you. He's going to take a lot of taxation, and he's going to take your cars and donkeys and boys and girls to help him, etc., and land. But there is also what a king is allowed to do. Okay? There is part of those things that he told them that he will do, that he is allowed to do. So Shmuel wrote those laws. They were oral laws, and he wrote them. And this is the first time that an oral law is being written on a book. This is also the pasuk that we are sort of using to understand or to justify the fact that we said that Shmuel is on the same level as Moshe and Aaron. Because Moshe, as we're saying in Kabbalat Shabbat, Moshe ve'Aaron b'kohanav, Shmuel b'korah Shmuel, right? That we are equating them. They're both on the same level, because he also gave us a book. He is the one that started writing the oral law. And because he also gave us a book, we just like Moshe Rabbeinu gave us a book, he gave us a book, so they're on the same level. And where did he put this book? Where does he store this information? Vayanach what? Vayanach lifnei Hashem. So there are two opinions. One opinion is that there was, as we said, there was a shul there in the mitzvah, that he put it there. And there are another opinion that he carried it back with the breastplate to Kiryat Yerim and put it in the tabernacle. Where exactly, I'm not sure, but in front of God, it can be in a whole number of places over there.
Did he read it out loud or something? Like, how is it?
It first says that he talked it, he spoke it, and then it says that he wrote it.
Right.
Yeah. Vayidaber Shmuel alam, right? He told them, and then he wrote it. And Vayanach lifnei Hashem, right? Vayishalach Shmuel et kol ha'am ish lebito. And then it's like, the end of a festival. It's let's all go home. Nothing happened. Very strange. Nothing happened. I don't know why. It seems anticlimactic, right? If there is a problem, let's solve it now. But no, because he knew that Shaul and the people needed some time to get used to the idea here. So let's just, call it a night and let's all go home. וגם שאול הלך לביתו גבעתה, and Shaul also went back home, וילכו עמו החיל אשר נגע אלוהים בליבם. And with him, people started volunteering. People who felt that, this is a momentous occasion, this is a special guy. Shmuel is saying that he's the best guy in town. So let's accompany him. Let's give him the respect that the king deserves. So they volunteered and they went with him, and they did it because God sort of talked to them. They felt in their heart that they need to do it. However, that did not really spread to the entire people. Some people, uvnei Blial amru, מה יושיענו זה ויבוזו ולא הביאו לו מנחה ויהי כמחריש. But a bunch of hoodlums, after they all demanded that we have a king, and after they had a king, they right away, you have two Jews, you have three opinions. Who the heck is this guy? How is he going to help us? He's just, was hiding in the shed. Very funny, and they booed him. They disrespected him in a terrible way. And when a king is being inaugurated, people are bringing gifts to the king. And a lot of people brought stuff to give to the king, but they didn't. They made a point that we're not giving you anything. And now, when somebody disrespects a king, the king not only they're obligated to take this problem away, because, now everybody will disrespect the king.
Off with his head.
Off with his head, exactly. And, but he didn't do it. He says, he was quiet. So on the one hand, it's super nice. On the other hand, it's really hurting the office now. Now you're not anymore Mr. Shaul ben Kish. Now you're King Shaul, King Saul. And now it's the problem with the office. And now, why was he like that? Because he didn't know what to do with it. He was really surprised because he thought that after the gathering and the lottery and the breastplate again, and he was trying to prevent this. He sensed that something like that will happen. And what didn't you see? Weren't you here? I mean, we were standing all here together. So he was dumbstruck in a way and didn't do anything. All right. And now, so he went back home. And now, this is the emergency. This is why what happened is happening. So let's do a little bit of an intro to that. The people of Ammon. The people of Ammon were in nowadays modern day Jordan, and they tried hurting us and taking our land to the people, to the tribes that lived on the eastern side of the Jordan at the time of Iftach, 100 years ago, 90 to 100 years ago. And Iftach HaGiladi from the Gilad, from that area, saved us and defeated them. And they were quiet for about 100 years. Now, in that place, in the Gilad, there was a town called Yavesh Gilad. This is an infamous town. Why infamous town? We spoke before, we discussed the situation with the Pilegesh Bagivah, the war, the civil war that occurred between the Jews and the tribe of Benjamin. And all the tribes obligated, they made sure that everybody is participating in this war because of the atrocity that occurred, and how dare, and they're not extraditing the gang that raped, etc. There was one town who refused to send people to the battle, and that's the town of Yavesh Gilad. They were cousins to Benjamin, something they related, and they refused to participate in the war. The rest of the Jews, led by Judah, by the tribe of Yehudah, didn't like it, and they basically ended up killing most of the town, most of the people in the town, men, women, and children, because they took themselves out of the klal, out of the community. But there was something also good about it, because when the Jews were fighting against Binyamin, one of the things that they all promised to each other, we're never going to marry the tribe of Benjamin. Okay? And they made this promise, they swore to it, and the war happened, and 600 Benjaminites survived, and now they made peace with the rest of the Jews, but nobody can marry them. So how is the tribe of Benjamin going to exist if there are only 600 men, no women, and what's going to be? So they asked, who wasn't around when we made this promise, when we swore to it? They said, the people of Yavesh Gilad. Oh, okay, they didn't participate. So first of all, let's go kill them all, except the ladies, the women that did not have, were not married yet, and didn't have any relationship with any men yet. And there were 400 of those, and they brought them in, and they married them with the 400 of the 600 of the tribe of Benjamin. The other 200, the tribe of Benjamin went on Tu B'Av, in the 15th day of Av, and they sort of grabbed the girls that were not married. They were all, they had this festival. I don't want to call it Woodstock because it's not right, but there was a festival.
Lady Hawkins Day.
There was a festival near Shiloh, near Beth near the tabernacle at the time, every 15th of Av, and the girls would come to the orchards, and they were all dressed in white, and the men that are unmarried men who they were looking for a kala would go there and grab the person without giving too much attention to where they're coming from, how much money they have in the bank, who their father is, because they wanted to look at the person. So the other 200 got the Jewish people did not give their daughters to them, they grabbed them. So that's how they got around the prohibition to marry the tribe of Binyamin. Anyway, Long story short, the people of Yavesh Gilad, 400 girls from there, married 400 men from Binyamin, and those men from Benjamin moved over there to Yavesh Gilad. So now, the tribe of Yavesh Gilad, 100 years later, not the tribe, the citizens of the city of Yavesh Gilad are basically Benjaminites, right? Even though it's on the other side of the Jordan, it's basically the people of Benjamin, because all the rest were killed. And the only ones that were left married the boys from Benjamin. The king of Ammon had a bone against us. The bone that he had at the time of Yiftach is, how come you took my land? But that Yiftach told him, listen, we didn't take your land. I mean, it's Heshbon, there was a war, you lost it to someone, and we took it from the guy that took it from you, whatever. You don't. We have nothing to talk to you about. You talk to the person the Sichon, who took the land from you first. But he had another bone, and that the bone is that there is a statement in the Torah, there is a prohibition in the Torah that lo yavo Ammoni b'kal Hashem, that you cannot marry an Ammonite. An Ammonite is not allowed to be. You're not allowed to marry. A Jew is not allowed to marry an Ammonite, even after, even they can't convert even after 10 generations. A man Ammonite, a woman Ammonite is okay. A man Ammonite is not. So he did not like it. I mean, how come you don't want to marry me? It's similar to what happened to Achashverosh. Haman came to Achashverosh and told him, as we learn, those people, if there is a fly falling into a glass of wine, they will take the fly out and they will drink the wine. But if you touch it with your little finger, they will spill the wine, because it's Yain Nesech. So that's what got Chashverosh all crazy against us. We go, how dare you don't want to, if I touch it, it's not good for me. You don't want to marry me. So the king of Ammon had this bone against us. He just heard that one of the tribes of Benjamin became a king. It's a perfect situation. It's a perfect opportunity to put the Jews down. So, Vayal Nachash Ammoni. So Nachash Ammoni put under siege the city, Vayichan el Yavesh Gilad, the city of Yavesh Gilad. Vayomru kol anshe Yavesh Gilad el Nachash, krot lanu brit v'na'avdeka. Now, the people of Yavesh Gilad, they are off the beaten path because they are all the way on the outskirts of the land, on the other side of the Jordan, and they were afraid. We didn't have at the time, a mighty army. We just had a king set on, but what did the king have? The king went back home, as we saw after the inauguration. He didn't even start building a palace, didn't start building an army. He just went back home, So what? So they didn't have any hope, and they were afraid. So they told Nachash, let's make a treaty. Now, when you make a treaty with people, each party needs to give something. So Nachash will give what? He will give that he's not going to kill them, right? Now, what are the Jews going to give? So Nachash saying, I'll tell you what I'm going to give. I want to step on your faces. I want to embarrass you publicly. Vayomer aleim Nachash Ammoni, bazot echrot lachem. That's how we're going to have a treaty. If I'm binikor lachem kol ein yamin, I'm going to take out every man. I'm going to take their right eye. Yamin, Benjamin, right eye, all the same. V'samtia cherpa al kol Israel, and I'm going to embarrass you in front of all the Jews that you had to go through to sign such a bad deal. So the people of Yavesh Gilad were smart. Ve'emru elav ziknei Yavesh. So the elders of Yavesh Gilad told them, listen, if you want to embarrass all of the Jewish people, they need to know about it, right? If you just do it like that, an attack, a surprise attack, so you won a war, but it's not it's not an embarrassment. An embarrassment is if everybody knows that you're going to do it, and you're going to do it anyway. So give us 7 days, and we're going to go tell all the Jews that that's what you're going to tell us. So ואמרו לזקני יבש, הרף לנו 7 ימים, give us 7 days, ונשלחה מלאכים בכל גבול ישראל, and we're going to send people to all of the borders of the land of Israel. ואם אין מושיע אותנו ויצאנו אליך, and if nobody is going to save us, which you and I know that it's not going to happen because, we don't have an army and you're so mighty. So then we'll come to you, and then you can embarrass us as much as you want, and you'll be happy. When is Mincha? 8. So in 2 minutes. All right. ויבואו המלאכים גבעת שאול, וידברו הדברים באוזני העם, וייסעו כל העם את כל העם ויבכו. So the malachim, the messengers that the people of Yavesh Gilad sent, arrived at Givat Shaul. Givat Shaul there is a neighborhood in Yerushalayim called Givat Shaul. It's the hill of Shaul. This is where Shaul lived. So they reached that place, right? That's where he was there. And they spoke and told the news to everybody, and everybody started crying, Oi, what are we going to do? והנה שאול בא אחרי הבקר מן השדה, ויאמר שאול, מה לעם כי יבכו, ויספרו לו את דברי אנשי יבש. So Shaul, he went back to his civilian life, so he went to his cows and donkeys and to work in the field. So he came back from the field and says, why are you all crying, people? So they told him the news. So then again he felt the strength, the might of God, the wind of God, רוח השם coming in, ותצלח רוח אלוקים על שאול, ושמעו את הדברים האלה, ואיחר פה מאוד. So he got upset, and the strength, the courage of God went into him, and he was very upset with it. And what did he do? We'll see next time.